The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Once when Jesus was praying in solitude and his disciples were with him, he asked them, "Who do the crowd say that I am?" They said in reply, "John the Baptist. Others, Elijah. Still others, one of the ancient prophets has risen." Then he said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Peter said in reply, "The Christ of God." He rebuked them and directed them not to tell this to anyone. He said, "The Son of Man must suffer greatly and be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed, and on the third day be raised." Then he said to all, "If anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will save it." The Gospel of the Lord. So as we saw on the video, if you saw the questions on the video, we all have things in our life that don't go the way we want, or they come upon us unexpectedly, right? It was 21 years ago that my mom's mental illness came up upon our family unexpectedly. Now at that time, my brothers and sister and I were starting our own families, but Mom got sick. And we were lost because we didn't know what was going on. We'd never seen anything like that before, and we didn't have any idea what to do. So after working with several doctors over the period of a couple years, my mom was able to be treated. But we knew that there was no way she was going to be able to take care of herself then the way she had before. So just when we thought we were going to be able to focus our attention on our own families, we had to shift some of that focus away from our families and ourselves to take care of Mom. And we did, and each of us agreed that we would do whatever was within our ability to take care of her. And we took care of her for the last 20 years of her life until she passed away. So, was that easy? Not at all. Was it a burden? Sometimes a severe burden. One of my brothers said one time, "You know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I've got my own family to worry about. I'm out of here." But with prayer and some grace from God, he was able to get over that, and we took care of Mom. When I was reflecting on that earlier, or late last week, early this weekend, a question came up. Why did we do that? Why did we go through all that for 20 years? And the answer is because it's Mom, and we love her. So out of the unexpected came love. How cool is that? Out of the unexpected came love. So in the gospel today, Jesus tells us some things that I think are unexpected, at least to the people of his time. You know, he told everybody that he was with that if they wanted to come after him, they had to deny themselves, take up their cross daily, and follow him. Now, in Jesus' time, the cross meant one thing. It meant crucifixion. And what's crucifixion? It's humiliation, it's torture, and it's death. So can you imagine the people listening to Jesus thinking, wait a minute, if I want to come after you, I need to do that? No thanks, I'm not coming. See you later, been nice knowing you, goodbye. So that same message comes to us today, right? We just heard it. If we want to go after Jesus, we need to deny ourselves And we need to pick up our cross every day and follow him. So, what does that mean to us today? You know, we know what the people in Jesus' time thought. What does it mean to us today? Because it seems like it's just become another saying. Pick up your cross, take up your cross. Another saying that means, you know what, you just need to put up with life's inconveniences. You got a crummy drive back and forth to work? It's too bad, that's your cross, put up with it. You got to put up with having to go home and do homework. You got to put up with having to do chores when you get home. So that's kind of what we think it means, right? Maybe that's what we expect it to mean. Just put up with life's inconveniences. But it not only means that, but it means much, much more than that. St. John Paul II says to pick up your cross, take up your cross and follow Jesus means that you will stake your life on your love for God and on your love for your neighbor with him. So what does that mean, stake my life on the love for God? You will walk with Jesus and risk losing your life because of your love for God. You will risk losing your life because of your love for other people. So that's a lot more than just putting up with inconveniences. So what does that mean for me? Every day, I must risk that a part of me, a part of my life, is going to die. So that sounds a little scary, right? Like, boy, I don't want to pick up my cross either, if me or part of my life has got to die. But when you think about it, it's not really that scary. Because, you know, my selfishness, my what's in it for me attitude, that must die. My desire to seek my own comfort, that must die. My pride, my look at what I've done, look at me attitude must die. My lack of patience must die. My bitterness and wanting to complain about everything must die. Any expectation I have for my life must die in exchange for the expectations of Jesus. Yeah, that's a lot more than inconvenience. So what does that look like? What does that look like to pick up our cross daily and live that way? Well, that looks like St. Maximilian Kolbe, who was a priest in the concentration camps in the 40s, who volunteered to take the place of a man who was scheduled to be killed by starvation. But this man had a family. So Maximilian traded places, and he died instead. So why did he do that? Well, he did that because of the love he had for that man and his family, and the love he had for God. Taking up our cross and following Jesus looks like St. Gianna Beretta Molla, who was a doctor in the 1960s, who refused to have an abortion even though they were only going to do it to save her life. Being a doctor, she knew that the birth of her fourth child was going to be tough. So she told the doctors, if it comes to the point where you need to make a decision between saving my life and the life of my baby, I want you to save my baby. And Gianna died 7 days after her daughter was born. Taking up our cross and following Jesus looks like Holy Redeemer Outreach, who had one heck of a week last week, it sounds like. They had to kind of drop everything they were doing to help a woman move out of her condemned apartment. Another woman brought a box of clothes to somebody, and when the person received the box of clothes, they said, "Oh, thank you. If nobody came, I was really going to kill myself." So why did they do that? Why do the people at Outreach do that? Not for fame, not for notoriety, not for anything like that. They do it out of the love they have for the people that they care for and their love of God. Taking up your cross and following Jesus looks like you when you go home or you go to work or you go to school, and you let whatever expectation you have of what you're going to accomplish that day die, so you can shift your focus onto somebody else who really needs your help. Taking up your cross and following Jesus looks like moms who deny themselves their wants and their desires, and sometimes even what they need to take care of their family because they love them so much. And on this Father's Day, taking up our cross and following Jesus looks like our dads who let expectations they might have had for themselves and their lives die because they loved us more. They wanted to be with us, their sons and their daughters. So yeah, taking up our cross is a lot more than putting up with inconvenience. It's an act of love. St. John Paul II said, when we embrace our cross, it becomes a sign of love, a sign of total self-giving. And when we follow behind Christ, we are united with him in offering the greatest proof of love. And that right there is the greatest proof of love that God has for us. He did that for us. He did that for you. So imagine when that happened, that you were there. Imagine you saw them flop Jesus' broken and bloody body onto that cross. And then he turned his head and he caught your eye and he looked in it and he said, I love you. And you see the soldier raise the hammer, and as the first spike pierces Jesus' hand, after the cries of pain, you hear it again. I love you. And then you see the hammer go up a second time, and you hear the steel of the hammer hit the steel of the second spike, and again you hear him say, I love you. And the last spike goes through his feet, and after he cries out in pain, one more time he says, I love you. And then they stand up the cross for everybody to see. So you're there at the foot of the cross, looking up at his broken and bloody body, and he's looking down at you with love. And it's quiet there, and you hear one last time, I love you. So standing there at the foot of the cross, realizing that everything he did just because he loves you. It causes your heart to break. It makes you fall in love with him even more. It makes you want to do for him what he did for you. It makes you want to do for others what he did for you. So standing there, we just ask him, Jesus, help me give my life away. But it doesn't end there. Taking up our cross and following Jesus does not end in death. It leads us to resurrection. It leads us to life. To take up our cross and follow Jesus leads us from just having stuff to really being present to the people we love and the people we are with. To take up our cross and follow Jesus leads us from just existing and going through the motions to knowing that what we do really does matter. To take up our cross and follow Jesus does not mean death. It leads to a full and joyful life with him. So all those years ago when he told those people, if you want to come after me, deny yourself, take up your cross daily and follow me. That was unexpected. But out of the unexpected comes love.